Have you ever thought about making an entire day's meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner and dessert using ingredients just from your freezer? I know that probably doesn't sound the most exciting thing to ever think about, but that's kind of the task of today. But in all honesty, I think this is quite a fun challenge. Yesterday, I went wild in my local supermarket freezer aisles, and I'm not just talking about I'm gonna buy a pie, I'm gonna buy some cheesecake. I actually wanna try and make stuff from the freezer and get kind of creative. Right, so I'm off to some different supermarkets. I'm gonna plan to do a different supermarket for each course. Don't know what I'm getting. I'll document if anything I find interesting along the way as we go for each course, and yeah, see how we get on. As you can see, despite the uncertainty, I was quite chirpy driving in my car yesterday, but little did I know the intensity of shopping in 4 different supermarkets in the mid-afternoon. I normally go first thing in the morning and the evening. There is a different grade of shopper in there, I'm telling you. But we'll weave some of the footage that I captured between each course as we went, starting with breakfast. All right, Tesco's for breakfast. I'm so tempted to get a croissant, but I'm not gonna cheat. That'd be too easy. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed about those pancakes because when I was in the supermarket, I was looking on their website and it said it was available in the frozen and the bakery section, but when I got there, they definitely weren't. So I know I could have bought them and shoved them in the freezers, but that's not the rules today. It must source from the freezer, so this was my breakfast. Good morning, I am legitimately in my pajamas. Let's make some breakfast, although Boston's very keen for a walk. Well, he either wants to go for a walk or into the garden kitchen in his bed. So I got these frozen hot dog buns and I've let them thaw out overnight. So this is kind of my backup to the pancakes. Hot dog bun toasts. So these have already thawed out. I'm just trying to toast that buttered side. It's getting there, all right? Oh, they look really good actually. All right, so using the same pan, got a little bit of heat in it. Some pineapple pieces as well, why not? Yeah, back on the heat to fully warm through, and this will basically become our compote, although this bit here is quite stubborn. And as disappointing as it was that I couldn't get those pancakes, that would have been mega easy. I did buy some cinnamon swirls just in case. Yeah, look at these things. They look really, really good. But you know what? Our hot dog sticks, or whatever we're gonna call them, they are giving me brioche vibes. Whilst that is warming through, got some vanilla ice cream here, and that's not the last we'll see of that. Just melting that up because then that can be some sort of sauce. Like genuinely, I probably wouldn't do that. The compote's enough. Oh wow, okay. Yep, that didn't take long at all. Yes, I did still pick up these, and although the hot dog buns have worked, I could use this instead of the hot dog buns. We're gonna do bao bun clouds. So the instructions say to just steam them in the microwave. All right, so that's steamed and it's very, very hot. All right then, straight from the pan. Oh, come on. This definitely beats my cornflakes. So here are, I don't know what I've done this. Looks a bit random now, to be fair. Maybe don't do this. And then I've got a drizzle of that melted ice cream all over the top like that. But to be fair, it's so dark in here. I've pushed the camera as bright as I can. That actually looks pretty darn awesome. You get kind of like a sharp sweetness from the fruit and the sauce that it kind of created itself. But the main flavor is that intensity of the vanilla ice cream. But kind of like holding it all together and maybe like toning down the sharpness a touch is that toasted butter on those hot dog fingers. Oh, a truly phenomenal start. But now it's time for lunch. In Sainsbury's, I stumbled upon some like paste, like different paste. It was like blew my mind, so I grabbed some of them. The other thing is, because it's near Christmas, they had pigs and blankets on the shelf and I had to refrain myself. I'm like, I could use that, but that wouldn't be fair. Yes, so here is my 1-pan Thai red prawn curry fried rice. We're gonna go with that. Yeah, so I'm just gonna dump it all in. And look at this, frozen onions. I love the fact that you've not got to cry over your onions. They're already chopped, it's clean and tidy and fairly symmetrical. Peppers, oh yes. And just for the minute, some chopped garlic. Like how simple is that? All right, mate, sound more like a musical instrument. Let's get you nice and warm. I'm being really harsh on myself with this one. No salt or pepper. Although you can buy different seasoning packs that have got like seasoning on it already if you want. But this is just for my challenge. I truly want to see if purely from the freezer, this can taste really good. All right, so now we get this paste. Oh wow, it's like literally what you would normally get in the store aisle. Yeah, that's definitely gonna flavor it. In go our prawns. Now this is a packet of microwave rice. Now I know I could have bought a paella mix. I saw lots of different versions of those, but I like the idea of buying the rice separately. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this. And one thing I've tried to do today as well is not sort of like go for the flash stuff. For example, I saw in Lidl. Oh my gosh, look, Lidl have actually got an entire octopus. And I saw a lobster as well, and I know some of you guys would absolutely love that, but also you would blow your entire budget. The lobster in all the supermarkets, and in one in particular, was 3 times more than the cost of this entire dish. And I know I was calling this like fried rice, but there was a moment where I was like, oh, I wonder if supermarkets sell frozen eggs. That was unsuccessful. Maybe I've watched too much Jurassic Park. Come on, little one, come on. But I'm sure they exist. Yeah, lovely smell in here, and I've got that parsley tub here, and it doesn't always shimmy out too well. Sometimes you get a huge clump, so I'm doing it with a teaspoon, but look how easy that is. I'm actually really happy with that. It could taste horrendous, so let's find out. All right, I'm excited to try this. Oh, wow. That is delicious, but it's blooming hot. Wow. Oh, okay. It does say warning hot on the front. Oh, it is a substantial amount, and I do have enough left for 2 portions. It would definitely work as a dinner, but for dinner, I kind of wanted to do something a bit quirky. All right, this next one is the food warehouse, aka Iceland. I could pretty much do the entire video in here, but we're gonna balance it out. Tell you what, I could have gone absolutely bonkers in there. There was some like ready-made sets of things, and that's not really what it's about today, where your whole imagination can run wild. There's nothing against that. I'm just being harsh on myself. All right, this is gonna be a little quirky, and I hope that it works. And in fact, okay, let's go for 4 sausages. Now, I got this idea, and this is gonna be really strange, because I saw in the freezer aisle they had packaged gnocchi with a sauce. It was all frozen, ready to go. There was a couple of ones with ravioli as well, but that would be cheating the system. So I'm gonna try and do, I know this doesn't make any sense at all, and it's probably the wrong thing to call it, a hash brown gnocchi, okay? I mean, I'm literally scratching the surface of what to call it, but let's not gnocchi it till we try it. Yeah, we could also do this step in an air fryer, but I'm gonna need the oven again in a bit. Because when I was in Asda getting my dessert ingredients, I stumbled upon this. Yes, the savoury supermarket. Maybe I was being a bit harsh on myself, like trying to limit it to each supermarket, but I managed to find naan breads, a garlic naan. It's worth noting, the supermarkets in my hometown, they're not small, but if you go to cities, the range on the shelves in general are much bigger. That was the example I got told about those pancakes. They would probably be in a freezer section in maybe larger cities. And indeed, one of the supermarkets I went in London, they're supposed to sell gnocchi frozen on its own. For me personally, I don't live near London. That is a heck of a road trip to go just to try and see some frozen gnocchi that might not be there. So hopefully this hash brown is a little bit of a quirky thing. The coating might give it some more flavour, the saltiness from the sausages too, because I'm going to need that. We're going to do a creamy sauce, and yes, we're using ice cream. We really need those flavours to override that little bit of sweet vanilla-ness, or maybe it'll be vanilla nice. All right, here we go, straight from the freezer. They smell really good, but I do want, oh crikey, this baking tray back for the naan bread. In you go, mate. I actually realised when it was baking away that you can buy like hash brown rounds as well. But I feel like this is making me work for it a little bit more. Let's push those sausages and the hash browns into a big old pan, and the fat from that sausages, that's where we're going to really hope for. I mean, I know that sounds weird out of context, but again, I'm not going to add any oil. Some more frozen garlic, in go some peas, and a few blocks of frozen spinach. Oh my word. But of course, like we talked about, we need to get this creamy, but there's a lot of savoury in there. All right, this is coming together well. It's sizzling away. The sausages are really helping me. I never ever thought I'd do this in a video, but I'm gonna get 2 good old dollops of ice cream. Do you know what? I'd love to stir a little bit of mustard through this right now, just to give it some kick. Now, I just sliced up my naan bread into smaller pieces, and I'm gonna push the majority of it in. Not over the heat though. I wanna keep that crunch, just to break through any of that potential sweetness, and I guess kind of give it like a crouton vibe. And if any of you guys would take on this challenge and you wanna let me know what you would do let me know. I always find that quite fascinating. I'm like, yes, that's an amazing idea. I mean, it's certainly quirky looking, isn't it? But definitely substantial. I've got a few more bits of hash brown that I'm going to stick on, and then those last bits of naan bread I actually just sliced up even finer into some nice little crummy chunks here. What is this going to taste like? Let's just go for it. Trying to get every bit on the fork. Whoa. God, that's really strange. I guess the first thing you're going to want to know, does it taste of an ice cream? It doesn't, but what it's made its kind of taste of with the potato vibes running through it. I mean, I have to be honest, it is very confused, but it does taste a little bit like a creamy dish. It's not gnocchi, of course. It's not pasta in any shape or form. Texture-wise, adding through the piece of naan with that extra bit of garlic as well, I think has helped it. Without that, it might have been even sweeter. It actually is passable, and part of me, although I don't really want to put ice cream in a dinner again, is wondering, well, what if I did chocolate ice cream without the vanilla notes and maybe slightly more mellower, like working with it a bit more? I think that can just be a distant thought for now, but the fact that I've not got to shove that into an ice cream cone is a win. It's actually all right. And now time for dessert. It is so tempting to get a strudel. Oh my gosh. I was a good boy. I didn't get the strudel, but I'm gutted because I was in there for dessert. I've already bought like my savory stuff and they had Wagyu steak in there. Oh. Yeah, I do like a strudel, but like I said at the start of the video, it would have been so easy to have just bought a strudel and a pie and a sausage roll or something like that. But no, we've set the challenge and so far everything's been pretty edible. And I think this is probably the easiest one. Well, I hope so anyway, because this is a round spring form tin and some cookie dough that was from the freezer that's been thawing out all day in this very room, and what we're gonna do is try and make a cookie cup. So I'm just gonna press it in. All right, there we go. Look at that, awesome. All right, mate, in you go. That supermarket also has a frozen chocolate brownie dough, so I could have merged them together to make a cup of brookie. But apparently that's a seasonal thing, it's out of stock, so I don't know how something in the freezer, other than the Christmas dinner stuff I saw, wow, was seasonal, but the cookie should be good. All right. Oh, look at that. All right, I'm putting this ice cream back in for one last thing. It's been creamed today for two very different things. So also going in here is some smoothie mix, mango, papaya, and pineapple. So hopefully a nice sort of yellow hue to this. Well, that should be the case because I'm gonna try and make it pop in a minute. Yeah, I've got some blueberries, which should pop really nice against this. Oh, look at that. That looks gorgeous. All right, so probably about, I don't know, 12 to be specific. I'm not gonna count them. So we've got a little bit of the juice that we can drizzle over. Oh, fantastic. Okay, this is pretty delicate, but I think it's gonna help that this filling is quite rigid. I would probably be wanting to line this from chocolate. There's a couple of cracks here where it looks like a dam that wants to burst. Whereas this is like, hey, I wanna stay here, this is fun. Okay, so a couple of blueberries on there. Oh, wow. That looks really cool. Maybe a little bit of the sauce dribbled around. Oh, wow, this is awesome. Oh, lovely. Oh, I've got to go for all that. It's got everything on it. Oh, oh. That is this amazing combination of there still being like the warm chocolate chip cookie dough in there, plus the squished blueberries on top are warm too, but then this filling in the middle there, where we've literally taken it straight from the freezer with the ice cream too. It's like a cold blast. Yeah, it's like fantastic merge of hot and cold, but like the gooey chocolate cookie with the fresh fruit. That is gorgeous and extremely addictive and possibly my favorite today. The breakfast was phenomenal. But when I think of this challenge and opening my eyes to what the freezer can do, I think we've really pushed that with the dinner, possibly too much, which is why my lunch, that red Thai curry, despite the surprising heat, was truly outstanding. But in their own ways, they've all been like really interesting and we've stuck to the rules. I would love to have just done a few tweaks to make it a lot more normal, but we have achieved it. Every single item from the freezer. Do let me know if you want what you would do with just freezer only rules and don't just be like pizza. Although now, considering I've spent nearly all day out here, it does make me wish that I did kind of take that route. But ultimately, I hope you've learned something, hope I've made you smile, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.